So this is a very exciting day for transit and multimodal transportation in Durham. My name's Sean Egan. I'm the Director of Transportation for the City of Durham. And we have some speakers here to share some very exciting news about federal awards for our transit, bicycle, and pedestrian infrastructure here in the City of Durham. We'll start with Mayor Elaine O'Neill, followed by Board of County Commissioners Vice Chair Wendy Jacobs, followed by Congressman David Price, and then Board of County Commission Chair Brenda Howerton at the close. So at this time, I'd like to invite Mayor Elaine O'Neill to come up and begin the program. Thank you.
Good morning, happy Monday, everybody. It's a beautiful rainy day in the Bull City. We're glad to be here. Thank you all for coming today. I'm so glad to welcome you to the Durham Station, the heart of our transit system. And I first want to thank Mr. Sean Egan of the City of Durham, who spearheaded this effort, and his able staff. And I also would like to thank our own Congressman, David Price, for supporting our request for $11 million in funding for the Durham Station from the Federal Bus and Bus Facilities Program, and $9 million in raised funds to transform the abandoned rail corridor just north of here to a trail to connect residents and visitors with our transit hub. The combined $20 million in federal awards, can you believe that, Chet? Whew, that's amazing. The combined $20 million in federal awards the city has received in just a few months, the last few months, is a testament to Congressman Price and our city staff's commitment to sustainable transportation in Durham and across the nation. In Durham, we have seen this commitment firsthand. Last August, after writing a letter of support to our raise application for trail funding, Congressman Price spent an afternoon walking the rail bed with city staff to see for himself the possibilities this new connection could bring to our community. He asked lots of questions, wanted to learn more so that he could advocate for the project in Washington, D.C. Just 3 months later, U.S. Department of Transportation announced the $9 million award. Likewise, the congressman reached out to me shortly after I became mayor to invite me to join him in a video we shot right here at the Durham Station to talk about the increases in funding for public transportation that he's worked so diligently to build into the bipartisan infrastructure law passed by Congress and signed by President Biden last year. Just 2 months later, we learned of the $10.8 million federal award that will enable us to improve safety and customer comfort for the 15,000 riders who use this station every day, while expanding our capacity to run more buses, and we are including larger articulated buses used for the Bus Rapid Transit, or BRT. The Biden administration has made a commitment through the Justice 40 initiative to ensure that at least 40% of infrastructure funding benefits historically disadvantaged communities. I hear every day from residents of these communities that the time has come to address their needs, and these investments represent a down payment on that promise. Funding transit also aligns with our race equity goals, as more than 80% of Go Durham riders are people of color. Our riders have told us they want more frequent, fast, and reliable service, so we're strengthening our frequent transit network where buses come every 15 minutes or better, and investing in infrastructure on the Holloway and Fayetteville Street corridors in this network. We also know that transit riders in Durham face low wages and high cost of living, so making transit free for everyone is an investment in equity for essential workers, students, and our seniors. These federal investments make the Bull City more equitable, more sustainable, and looking around at the display boards here, even more beautiful. About at the last of the comments, you all. If I can turn the page. We are so grateful to Congressman Price and our partners in Durham County for their support. Once again, I have to say congratulations to Mr. Egan. I've gotten to know him pretty well over these last few months that I've been mayor, and believe me, he is working hard to make sure that we have a great transportation here in Durham along with his staff. And I also would like to now introduce our Board of County Commissioners, Vice Chair Wendy Jacobs, to talk about how partnerships make this work possible. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor O'Neill. Durham County is proud to be a partner with the City of Durham in making investments in integrated land use and transportation that will help create a more equitable and sustainable future for our residents. Chair Howerton will bring us further comments at the close of today's program. I recently completed a 2-year term as chair of the Durham Chapel Hill Carborough Metropolitan Planning Organization, DCHC MPO, our regional transportation body. During my tenure, I worked with elected officials, staff, and residents to develop a new multimodal vision for how our residents can get to where they need to go now and in the future, as our region is projected to add more than 840,000 jobs and 1.17 million people in the coming years. This multimodal vision, the Connect 2050 plan, is centered around equity, reduction of congestion and carbon emissions, transit-oriented land use that provides more transportation options for our most marginalized residents as our region grows, with the majority of jobs being located to our east in RTP, Wake County, and beyond. This transformative Connect 2050 plan prioritizes investing in transit, bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure, and reimagining our roads by modernizing them and making them more people-centered, including bus, walking, and biking options. The rail trail and Durham Station projects are an important part of this 2050 plan and exemplify the kinds of investments we need to be making in a connected and integrated multimodal regional transportation system. We need better local bus service. We need a bus rapid transit system. We need commuter rail. We need all of these options to be seamlessly connected with sidewalks, bike and pedestrian pathways, and last mile on-demand services. The rail, trail, and Durham Station projects will create better bus facilities and help build our interconnected multimodal transportation network. The rail trail offers a new, safe, and attractive option connecting many neighborhoods that were redlined and excluded from federal investments in the 20th century, and provide a way for people to walk or bike to get to where they need to go. Today, many of these same residents use Durham Station daily, stand in the rain under canopies that cover only 20% of the waiting area, without seating, crowded onto narrow sidewalks and paths, without transit information or even restrooms when the building closes at night. But all of this will change with the Durham Station project, increasing canopy coverage to 80%, adding a fully improved plaza with ample seating, landscaping, safer crosswalks, along with a customer service kiosk and restrooms on the platform available 24/7. The station's current bus bays are all in use, necessitating temporary curbside bays when services are added. These improvements will grow capacity by 40% to accommodate the growth in frequency and the new connections riders have told us they need through our Engage Durham process around the transit and comprehensive land use plans. And with the location of Durham Station close to the Amtrak station and a proposed Greater Triangle commuter rail station, Durham bus riders, we hope, will have the opportunity for a fast and reliable connection to even more good-paying jobs in the near future. With very limited state and local transportation funding, we are so grateful to Congressman David Price for his role in crafting the bipartisan infrastructure law and making possible the opportunity for funding projects like these for years to come. We are so grateful to you, Congressman Price, for your steadfast leadership in championing transit investments in our area for many decades. Now I would like to invite you to join us for the main event.
All right, thank you. Well, thank you for those generous words, and thanks for the show of support here from the city and the county, and the little bit of credit being claimed all around, duly justified, especially our hardworking staff who put together these proposals and who are seeing the fruits of their labor as we get this check. I hate to tell you, the check actually is going to be split to two agencies, but this pretty well says it, and we're happy to consolidate this celebration today because these projects are similar in that a similar process that we went through to merit these funds and to apply for them, and also they will be complementary in the way they work, because we're talking about, as you've heard, greatly enhanced bus service for this city, where we're already serving a huge number of people, many people of lower income, people of color. And then the question of how there's going to be access to the bus facilities and to the Amtrak station. And so developing this abandoned rail bed and turning that into an amenity, a kind of linear park for the city that doubles as a corridor for accessing transportation. It's an ingenious notion, and it does fit together, and it's something that we do celebrate today. So the city of Durham has now received nearly $20 million. 10.8 million of that comes from the Federal Transit Administration, and it is for this Durham Station project. It comes out of the bus and bus facilities account at the Federal Transit Administration. And then there's a $9 million RAISE grant. Many of you might remember that as the Tiger program. The name tends to get changed with different administrations, but we now call it RAISE. And it is funding for particularly innovative projects that do have a multimodal character. Sometimes they're huge projects, like Raleigh's Union Station. That is a Tiger project. 3 different Tiger grants went into Union Station, developing that kind of signature facility. and also developing bus service to feed that, that central facility. So that's Big Tiger. But the Tiger Raise program also focuses more locally sometimes. It always is multimodal. It always has different aspects of transportation being brought together. But in this case, this is a more targeted, smaller grant, but not so small, $9 million, which will go a long way toward developing that rail trail project, the Durham Beltline, we call it. So together, these projects could have and will have, I think, a major impact on the mobility and livability and economic competitiveness of Durham and Durham County and this region. And there is a equity theme that traces through all of this, serving communities that have historically not always been first in line, have not always gotten the kind of service that they need and deserve. In fact, as I think the mayor said, nearly 80% of the 20,000 Go Durham riders that we have right this minute are people of color. So expanding and improving these public transit services are critically important to meeting our communities and our country's equity goals, doing right by all of our citizens. Now, when I have these occasions, when I'm part of these occasions, either in the transportation or the housing realm, I have a standard line that I always give, and that is that we need to have many more of these occasions. I want to say that with a particular emphasis today. We need to have many more of these occasions. These are wonderful projects. They draw on a couple of funding streams. They draw on the omnibus bill, the appropriations bill, the year-to-year appropriations bill. In fact, that's mainly what they draw on. You don't yet here have the funding from the infusion of funds through the bipartisan infrastructure bill. But you have an indication of what is to come, because both the annual appropriations bill that I preside over as subcommittee chairman and the big infrastructure bill that you hear so much talk about and that Mayor O'Neill and I touted in a video that went viral out here at the bus station. All of that means that there's more where this came from, and there needs to be. There needs to be investments like this every day around this country in improving our transportation and, for that matter, our affordable housing availability for all of our citizens. So we can look to have more opportunities, but I'll just point out one additional thing. While some of that infrastructure funding is going to come in just enhancing the kind of formula funding we get for highways and transit at the state level, and that'll come to Durham, and we're happy about that. This isn't formula money. This doesn't come down like manna from heaven. This is competitive grant money, which is why we talk about our staff and why we talk about the people who had the vision and the ingenuity and the know-how to put together compelling proposals. Sure, I sent a letter supporting these proposals, but the real work was done at the city and county level as we formulated these proposals and put together a plan that makes sense. And fortunately, in this case, your federal government is present and accounted for. And I couldn't be more happy about that. But it is a partnership. That word keeps recurring. It is a partnership. And the federal money is never going to do the whole job here. It's certainly not going to take the initiative. The initiative is local. The complementary funding is local. And certainly the benefits are going to be very, very local. Finally, just a word about the broader regional picture. We're thinking a lot about that lately because the MPOs are at work, and we're getting what I think is going to be a comprehensive and compelling regional plan together, integrated plan, multimodal plan for transportation. These pieces are very, very important to that, whatever it ends up looking like in terms of the region-wide plan. Because we cannot even think about a regional plan if we do not have enhanced bus service in each of our communities, serving our most needy citizens and addressing these equity goals. And this is going to have to integrate with whatever we're able to do regionally, and I think we're going to be able to do a great deal regionally. And I think some of these new initiatives will help underwrite that. but it is going to take enhanced bus service. It's going to take bus service on steroids, you might say, with BRT lines strategically placed. And by the way, this Durham station facility is going to include the capacity for that. And it's going to include commuter rail across the spine of the region, connecting with all the bus service. So we, as a region, we're a little bit behind the curve. It's a difficult region to configure to mass transit. We all know that. That doesn't mean we don't have to do it. In fact, we do have to do it. And we don't want to be waking up years from now thinking what an opportunity we missed. So I think the time is ripe. The funding has been enhanced. We're having some successes to show us what can be done and give us momentum. So on to greater things, serving all of our people with equitable and efficient and clean transportation. Thank you for all of you've done to bring us to this day. And now I'm happy to turn to our Commission Chair, Brenda Howerton.
Good morning. Oh my goodness, that sounds really bad. Good morning. Maybe I need to lift my voice a little bit. Good morning. Morning. You know, it is my pleasure to be with you this morning, and what a great community we have. And you know, following these dynamic speakers, I have the task of wrapping it up. You know, when you wrap it up, you can say about anything you want to say. But Sean did give me these notes here that I better follow. I want to let everyone know that today is just another example of how much we will miss this esteemed Congressman David Price when he concludes his remarkable term in office. We know, yeah, let's give him a hand. Yeah. So, thank you, Congressman Price. In Durham County Transit Plan that will decide how we invest $1 billion over the next 20 years, we are proud to support projects like these that respond to the needs we have heard from transit riders and residents across Durham. And I don't know if that's too far. I'm going to slide this way a little bit. You can still hear me because it's right in my eyes. We applaud Biden administration's Justice 40 initiative and stand ready to direct investments to communities historically harmed by, rather than improved by, federal funded projects. We will continue to be guided by what we hear from Black and brown residents who want to see more transit projects more quickly as we seek additional opportunities to leverage federal funds to meet the most urgent needs expressed by our community. Today marks the beginning of a new era when we bring together the city, county, and federal government to rise to the challenge our community has laid before us to build the future we want to see for Durham and provide an example for communities across the nation of what is possible when we come together and prioritize equity and sustainability in our transportation plans and projects. As chairman of the House Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development Appropriations Subcommittee, Congressman Price's leadership of this committee has been exceptional. He has advocated for those without a voice, and he has worked tirelessly to provide successful federal funding for projects, not just in this district, but across our great nation. Let me say thanks to our city and county staff who worked daily on these issues. And as I close, I want to say thanks to our mayor, Elaine O'Neill, Vice Chair Jacobs, and especially Congressman Price again for leading this charge toward the future we will build together. I am confident that our congressman will not stop advocating for funding assistance, be it for infrastructure, housing, or more of Durham's critical needs until his final day in Washington, D.C. and after. Thank you so much, Congressman Prince.
Do the check, I think.